finally, Calum Weaver, our latecomer, co-chairs CBRE's multi-housing private client group in South Florida. This group focuses on the marketing and disposition of multi-housing on behalf of private owners throughout the Tri-County area. In the past 2 years, he's completed 22 multi-housing transactions totaling over $300 million, of which 12 were either fractured condos or distressed sales. So as you see, we have a very distinguished panel tonight with probably as much experience in one room as any other meeting that I've ever attended. And I look forward to hearing your comments. Now, since Calum was late, he gets to go first.
What was the question again? Just to give you a bit of background as it relates to the two deals, as Frank had alluded to, my specialty is really more with the private investment side as it relates to these transactions. So when you read about the Everglades on the Bay or the Trump building up there in Sunny Isle, that's not really my specialty. There are other people on our team that will handle those larger type deals. Predominantly what I would do would work in sub $20 million type deals. I think even though you heard already today that there's going to have to be a shift in the buyer's investment requirements in order to get these deals done going forward, i.e. there's a lack of shortage of these guerrilla type deals that we've seen this year. I still do think for the private investor that's looking sub $20 million, there will still be opportunities that are available. Generally, the type of deals I've been involved in have been suburban in nature. They have been fractured deals. Give you one quick example. In December 2008, was involved in selling Bermuda Cay, which was on Unicoastal. It was 1970s type product, garden style. At the time, it was 107 units that sold for $7 million. Just to give you some idea of where the market was and where it is. In the summer of this year, we resold that building again. It was one fewer unit, so it was 106 units, and that traded a little over $8 million. So I think it was 8.2 from memory. So in 18 months, the investor made over $1 million on that investment. Another deal also in Palm Beach was Marana in Delray. That was 93 units out of 275, I believe. On both these examples, they were largely rented. They were suburban, 2-3 story product. They did make sense on a purely rental basis, albeit they weren't purely based on a cap play. But I think those are the type of deals going forward that you're more likely to see next year versus the high-rise or mid-rise for that matter as well.
Right, Calum, that Marana deal, that was a kind of conversion, was it not?
Yeah, they were both conversions.
Yeah. And you had several bidders on Marana, did you not?
Yeah, I don't remember the exact number, but generally speaking, I would say on a fractured deal, we would, obviously it varies, but you're probably talking about 25 offers, of which you've probably got 4 or 5 in the top tier. You probably have 4 or 5 that are extremely low in nature, and then the other 15 or so are somewhere between the two. But generally, when all said and done, you can probably go back to 4 or 5 groups that are all roughly near the same, and they're all cash. None of them are subject to finance.
That probably is an example of what we can see going forward.
Yeah, I think so. As a general statement, Peter must have read my notes already because he just said what I was going to say. Really. But in general, I think it's going to be suburban product next year. I don't really see many high-rise or Class A type deals getting done, and I think they'll probably be smaller in size as well, and that's what I can see next year.
Yeah, and also you're probably going to see a different class of investors for that too, right? They're going to tend to be more the small guys, the private guys, and guys looking for primarily a cap rate play as opposed to a flip. Is that agree with that?
In a perfect world, yeah, but anyone that's looked at a fractured deal knows it's just not that easy to purely put a cap on a deal. I think inherently a fractured deal will probably operate less efficiently than a pure apartment operation. So if you're going in looking for 7, 8 cap, whatever the case may be, I think you're going to be hard pressed to get that for a couple of reasons. One, conventional deals that are probably a similar standard are trading on a cap basis lower than that. And just because of the expenses being the way they are, I think, you know, once fully stabilised, you can probably get there. But I'm assuming when you're buying these deals, there's going to be some kind of a hair attached to them, whether it's, you know, HOA delinquencies, back taxes, or whatever the case may be. So day one for you to get that, you know, maybe a bit of a push.
You're not from Texas, are you, Cal?
Tennessee.
I thought I recognized that accent. So I guess in general, even going forward, you see what in summary, you said mostly suburban product, mostly appeal to the private investor for something below $20 million.
Correct. Suburban stuff product, you know, probably not as sexy or glamorous as the deals that trade this year. Probably easier to make sense as a rental versus I think a lot of these nicer deals, even if you get them fully occupied and do a very good job managing them, I still don't know if you can even break even. With these deals, I think you have a better shot at doing that. You know, on the flip side is they're probably less glamorous to sell down the road versus something on the beach or the waterfront. So you kind of pick your poison. It's probably less risk going in, but probably less upside down the road as well.